Hello, welcome to the Career Clarity podcast. Today, we have a special guest with us. We have Ritu Mehta. Ritu Mehta is a co founder of Talent Folks, a company that provides human resource solution and help MNCs and startups find the right talent, the talent that aligns with the culture and the values of the company. Ritu is also a certified leadership coach from International Coaching Federation and is trained in applying NLP techniques to coaching. She has been an executive coach and has worked with senior professionals and executives from some of the great organizations like Accenture, Cisco, Symantec, SAP Labs, and many more. By qualification, Ritu is a chartered accountant and has also done a degree from Cornell University in New York. Ritu is also a mother of two teenagers. So today's conversation is going to be really helpful and will help students and parents uh, in choosing a right career and look at what are the challenges which students face during their career selection, what companies are looking at when they are hiring a talent. All these are the topics we will be covering in today's session. So first of all, welcome Ritu, and thank you very much for your time. आपने अपना समय निकाला, and welcome to today's session.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was quite an introduction. I am so excited and thrilled to be here. You can't even believe it. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Ritu. So let's begin this podcast. And uh, before we move forward, I would request you to just give a or a brief introduction about yourself so that audience can know about you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll keep it short since you have already covered it. It's in
Yeah.
my own story, my own way.
Right.
I finished my chartered accountancy 25, 26 years back. Then I worked in accounts, finance, treasury functions for more than a decade. Then I was away out of country for a few years. And then I came back and then I started to do something else. So I trained myself, I got certification in coaching field, and hiring was somewhat my passion, you can say. So anything which was to work with people, where their careers were related, whether it's from choosing the career or excelling in career, that I found my calling. And right now I work in hiring and coaching space. I have a tech recruitment firm, and I also have my coaching practice where I work on everything related to life, business, and careers.
That's great. That's great. Thank you, Ritu, for sharing that. So I would start on this note. Like, if we go through the surveys, like Gallup did a survey where they researched many professionals across the world, and they found out that only 15% of the people who are working in corporate job, they are engaged in the job, they are happy and they enjoy what they are doing. But remaining 80-85% of the people, they are unengaged, they are not enjoying the job. You having an experience in HR domain, right, in recruitment, right, what do you think could be the reason for this? Why people are not happy with their jobs?
So let's divide this into two reasons. One are the external reasons, another one would be the internal reasons. Now, external reasons can be that I'm quite happy with myself, my own education, my own working style, but I'm not happy with my organizational culture or the people that I'm working in, or maybe the work I'm doing. I'm capable of doing something else. I was hired to do something else, but then I end up doing something else. So these are the external reasons that as an employee, I may be unhappy in my organization, right? Now, I think what we are discussing in today's discussion is the internal reasons, that why I'm not engaged. You know, one good thing is that if it is external reason, I always have a choice to find another organization. So I do not find any reason that you stay stuck in an organization, you're not happy, please move. You know, that's the one message I want to give. Nobody is forcing you to stay in the rut. You
Right.
have a choice to make. You know, if you are not making that choice, only you are to be blamed for that. Now let's come to the internal reasons. Now what happens, I'll tell you a very, very funny thing from my own life, why I did CA. I did CA because I did not know what I should be doing. I did not have that clarity. I did not have any mentor. I did not have internet like most of us, 26, actually 30 years back, you know. So yes, my father, my parents, both of them were very, very supportive. So they asked me, what do you want to do? And I said, I don't know what I want to do. So they said, my father said, okay, one of my colleagues' son is doing CA. Do you want to do CA? And because I didn't know anything, I said, okay. And then he said, he's getting the form for him. Shall I get the form for you? And I said, okay. So for the lack of clarity and resources and guidance, I did CA because my father's colleague's son was doing CA. Now, how funny that sounds, right?
Yeah,
But since I want to believe that I was a dedicated student, I finished what I started.
great.
After 15 years, I realized that maybe there is something else I can do. I have done my part, but I can do things now in my own way. Now, when I coach people and when I talk to them in detail, I also realize that almost everybody has a funny story like me. They
Right,
know something because they didn't know better, because our education system or whatever, I don't want to get into blaming authorities or organizations or a system. We just didn't know at that point of time. Medical engineering, CA, law, these were the couple of options we had, the clear options.
right,
Now, that's one of the reasons that we are, and I would say to that generation people, my generation people, that you can always change gears. We are not trees that we are rooted at one place. That time we didn't know better. Now we know better. At least 10, 15 years back, we started to have internet resources. Now we know we can have career counselors. We can have n number of resources. So now change the gears.
right, right. That's great. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. So there are basically two reasons. One is the external factor. External factor can be changed. Internal factors is something we should focus on more.
Yes.
So that's great. That's great. So when we say internal factors, Ritu, uh, as you mentioned that, like, because many of the students which come to me for the career guidance, normally their
Hmm.
perception about careers is on the based of the influence from the YouTubers, or maybe they will be looking at somebody in their family and they want to become that, right?
Hmm.
But what should be a process or a method which
Hmm.
the child should take in order to
Hmm.
understand which are the careers will be suitable, or in which direction the child should go? Any processes or to so that they can find out their own strengths and potentials? Please throw some light on that.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm so glad you asked that. And if I had to answer that in one line, I'll say instead of looking outside, look inside. Now, let
Right,
me elaborate what I mean by that.
right,
What I mean by that is that we all are different people with a different set of strengths, talents, skills, and abilities. What you can do, I may or may not can do or want to do. So instead of getting influenced by the outside of you, the factors which are outside and which are trying to distract you, you go inside and you see what are you good at. One is that what are you good at? And the second is what do you want to do? If somehow you can marry your strengths with your interests, you are unstoppable. Now, I know it's a very cliche example, but let's take an example of Sachin Tendulkar. He loved cricket and he was good at cricket. Imagine how miserable his life would have been if he wasn't given the opportunity to play cricket, because he is so good at it,
right,
right? And he did not come from a very he does not come from a very rich affluent family. He comes from a very humble beginnings, but somehow he got that support, that courage to follow his interest and match with his strengths. If I am an extrovert person, I should be looking at that, what do I want to do? You know, if I'm an extrovert person and I pick up a career where I'm hiding behind the computer screen all day, which is not in alignment with my natural temperament, I will be miserable. And now you make an introvert person into a public communication workspace, that person would be miserable. So you have to find out. And right now you have internet. What is it that which you cannot find? Go on the job portals, go on the LinkedIn, go on the website, see what kind of, suppose I want to make my career in medicine field, but I don't want to be a doctor. I can do 100 other things. The
Absolutely.
the problem is not that I don't know how to choose my career. The problem I find with students is that they don't want to put in the hard work of exploring few things and finding out. You know, I cannot scroll internet whole day and then say, "Oh, I don't know my passion. I don't know what to do," because even adults don't know their passion. To be very honest, this advice of following the passion is somewhat misleading. You know, because you find your passion after you try out 20 things, then you
Absolutely.
find your passion. You
Yeah.
don't find your passion in grade 9 or 10 when you don't even know how the word looks like.
Correct, correct. That was awesome. Yeah, absolutely. There's such an example you gave, and definitely, if an introvert person is there, and if he's put into a career which requires him a public speaking, or maybe meeting a lot of people, that extrovertness, definitely he will be frustrated. Thank you for mentioning and putting up that example. Uh, Also, you mentioned two things: that what you are good at and what you want to do, what your interest areas are. So
Yes.
yeah, but one thing which you mentioned, even the adults are not aware about their passion, right?
Hmm.
And
Yes.
this is coming from you, who has been running HR solutioning company, and who has been into hiring and recruitment day in day out, right? So my next question to you would be, like, when you recruit someone, right,
Hmm. Hmm.
from the time of recruitment and the time they leave that particular organization in which you have recruited them, what do you look, I mean, which are the people who stay longer time to the organization, and what are the traits of people who stay with the organization and they happily grow with the organization? What are your takes on that?
Hmm. So, this is very different for each individual.
Okay.
And and every time you cannot predict the events which are happening in their lives. The
Okay.
one top reason I would say, in my experience, is the people that you work with. If
Yeah.
you are matched with the people who have same values, same ethics, you stay longer. This is one of the top skill that I tell my clients also, that if you have to master two skills, one is the people management. If I learn how to work with people, whether they are my managers, bosses, whether I am leading them or they are my colleagues, my life is so much simple you know
Right.
and second is the mastery over your subject. You pick one thing, but you master it. So, two things, mastery and people. Now, let me connect back these 2 points to your question. If
Sure.
I'm joining an organization and I am vibing well with my colleagues, I'm having the same vision and same values that my leaders are showing me, you know, I would stay longer. And
Okay.
and now I'll connect the mastery, and I have the good command on the topic, on the subject, on my work area. When one of these two pillars shake, when I don't know how I am doing my job, when I'm not confident, when I'm not performing well, then I start looking out. When I'm love my work, but I'm not able to work effectively with the people of organization, I will start looking out. So,
Okay.
answer to your question is two words: people and mastery over your work.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Ritu, for that. So, two things: people management and mastery upon your subject. At the
Yes.
same time, the alignment of values and vision. These things do matter, right?
Yep.
So, again, as you mentioned, values, right? So can you shed some light on how can someone find out what their values are? Like, what are the values which they align more to? If you can share some thoughts on that.
So it's not very simple to find out. It's a lot
Yeah,
of hard work. It's very
yeah,
soul searching. At the end of the day, most of us prefer watching Netflix over soul searching that what went well and what did not go well. If
right,
we take out some time to reflect that what's working out for me and what is not working out for me. If you and me are engaged in a conversation and I say something which disturbs you, you know, after that conversation, think about that why did that comment disturb me? Maybe what I said was not in alignment with your values.
yeah, yeah,
Belief is different. You and me can believe in different things having the same values.
okay,
It's not necessary that we both have to like certain things. We can dislike certain things and still have the same values.
right,
Some people say I can tolerate anything, but I cannot tolerate when anyone lies to me. So
mm,
honesty is there because
yes,
they are tolerant about other aspects of life, but honesty is something that they are not able to compromise. So you cannot work for an organization who is lying to public, for example,
right,
who are probably doing something with their financials, not giving the proper knowledge of their product, are misguiding their customers. So that will bother you.
right,
So, like I said, it's not a very simple black and white answer to that question. If I have to give you two-word answer to this, I will say know yourself. Most of us don't know ourselves.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if you know yourself, you will know whether this organization, this set of people is in alignment with my values or not.
right, right. Absolutely. Great, great. That was again a amazing nugget which you shared. So basically, that example which you shared, like what disturbs you. So
Yeah.
if something is which is not in alignment with your values and you go through that, it will start disturbing you. So that is a one of the, I think, one of the main indicators where your value mismatches. So
Yes.
thank you for sharing that as
Sure.
well, Ritu. The conversation, I mean, the students and the parents who will be watching this and the young professionals who will be watching it, definitely they will be getting a lot of ideas and nuggets, so that they can work on themselves,
I
right?
definitely hope so.
Yeah, 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 definitely. One more thing, as you mentioned that we have to soul search, right? Any specific questions or any methods which you have applied or which you recommend to your clients? Like, maybe I normally what I do is I ask my students to have, A4 size papers with themselves and just
Hmm.
write what
Hmm.
are the I mean, write what the confusion you are having, and there are different ways through which I guide. Do you
Hmm.
have any specific questions which you ask, or maybe students can use to find out their, who, what they are, and their strengths are, their potentials are? Maybe one or two, something you would like to share.
I know soul searching is a little heavy word.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. So the if I have to translate this into a simpler terms, I will repeat myself, know yourself. Now, how do you question is that how do you do that?
Right.
How do you find out things about your own self?
Hmm.
The very simple answer to this question is spend some time with yourself, stay silent. We all of us as a society, we talk too much. We have to give opinion of everything. We have to say out loud everything. Spend some time calmly with yourself, not in isolating way, not that I'm shutting myself in my room and I'll put these earphones in my head and blast music and tune out my parents and families who are saying, not in that way, but
Right.
in a good way, in a calm way. Spend some time. When something makes you joyful, notice that thing, because that may be leading you towards your choice of career. If I am very joyful when I'm spending time with children or playing with animals, that's an indication that what kind of industry I can thrive in. you know when I am watching a Netflix documentary on health, on some medical systems, on something which is related to diet and exercise and taking care of your body, that may be an indication that which industry you can step into. So, whatever gives you joy and whatever is stealing your joy, be mindful of these two things and you will make your own path. See, you and me can sit down with students, but you and me cannot chart their career graphs. We can
Right.
show them the path, we can show them how to carve out their paths.
Absolutely.
And the thing, they have to start walking in it, they have to own their path. And trust me, when you do that, things happen to you. When you stay authentic, you will meet the like-minded people, you will meet people who are in the same industry, having the same interest, and that will open doors for you. I can elaborate on that because this is a topic I can talk whole day,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I will not just keep rattling on. If you want me to focus on something in particular, I would love to do that.
That's great. That's great. For sure. Sure, sure, sure. So yeah, what makes you joyful? Be mindful of that. What is stealing your joy? And what are the things, maybe documentaries or maybe movies or maybe YouTube channels you are following consistently, so that can be indication that you have an interest in that kind of particular field. Maybe
Yes.
as Ritu mentioned, that maybe you want to research about maybe geographical phenomenons, and you are
Yes.
watching Discovery, so maybe that can be an indication that you have interest in those areas, and you can start thinking how to create a career in that. What are the pathways of creating career in that? So yeah, that's a very good point. Thank you, Ritu, for sharing that. Now coming to a recruitment part, right?
Hmm.
So whenever, see, nowadays the fad is what I am looking at in the young professionals after they are graduating. Everyone is going behind package. Yeah.
Yes.
Even,
Unfortunately.
yeah, unfortunately, even the colleges are glorifying the packages. They are placing big billboards and all, showing that this is the package which the students have got. So but even when you look at some of the colleges, they have day zero placements and everyone is rushing for that. But later people realize that this is something which I have gone I mean this is something which I don't like, and I'm stuck in
Hmm.
this career, right? So this
Hmm.
often happens with the students. So my question to you will be like, what companies are looking at, first of all,
Hmm.
and when making a कंपनी डिसीजन कि बॉस ए कंपनी में जाना है, बी कंपनी में जाना है या सी कंपनी में जाना है, किस
Hmm.
कंपनीज के लिए अप्लाई करना है, किस कंपनीज के अप्लाई नहीं करना है, इवन दो
Hmm.
आई एम गेटिंग अ गुड पैकेज, ठीक है?
Hmm.
what are the things the students should be mindful, especially the young professionals, when they are applying for a company, so that
Hmm.
they be happy in that company?
Hmm. Hmm. 2 points.
Sure.
One is your well-being.
Okay, okay.
Choose the organization where you are not stressed out. Choose the organization where you will not be burned out, which is not bad for your health, all physical health, mental health, emotional health, every aspect of health. Your
Okay.
well-being is very important. No point of having $1 million in your bank account if you are not healthy and alive to enjoy it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's get that out of our way.
Okay.
The second thing is focus on what you will be doing in that company. What my belief is that if you continue to do what you enjoy for rest of your life, everything else will fall into the place. Now, okay, the fancy companies, Microsoft, Apple, Google, let's say I'm working in those companies, but I am not doing what I enjoy doing there. Suppose they put
Right,
me in marketing. Marketing is something, let's say I don't enjoy marketing. Okay.
right, right,
And I am working with Google and I'm heading the marketing function.
right,
A, I won't be enjoying it. B, I won't be good at it, right? So forget the company tag, forget the package, forget what your friends are joining, the peer pressure, the all sorts of societal pressures. only focus on what you will be doing 8 to 10 hours of your day, because your real joy, your real success will come out of that activity in which you are engaged for 10 plus hours in every day, you know. So I'll tell you another problem. We ask children, who do you want to become? I want to be CEO. I want to be CFO.
Huh.
Do not worry about who you are becoming. Worry about what you are doing. Because same thing, if you are working on something, you are good at it, you are enjoying, like we discussed in our previous answer, your strengths and your ability. I'm good at it and I'm enjoying doing it. If it is coding you are enjoying, please code. If
Right.
you do not like a desk job, if you do not like spending 10 hours with your keyboard, looking at your screen, please pick out a profile, be a licensing manager, go into sales marketing. There are n number of things you can do without staring in your screen whole day. You know, be out. So yeah, do what you enjoy.
Great,
It's
great, great.
about following your passion. Please be mindful of that. Even if I don't know what is my passion, I
Yeah.
know this is what is making me feel alive. I'm enjoying doing it. Please continue to do it. You might find your passion sometime in life, or you might not. It's okay. Many of us die without finding our passion.
Right, right, right. Thank you for mentioning that point, Ritu, because many nowadays people are looking. Everyone is passion is the fad word, which is always there. I am searching for my passion, and I
Yeah.
don't know my passion. And students get I'm still finding out. So there is a lot of pressure also. But it passion is something which not comes so easy. A lot of
Yeah.
exploration needs to be required. So basically, being in the moment, enjoying the daily task is
Yes.
something, because you
Said
have to
it.
spend 8 to 10 hours. If you are not enjoying, you will not be good at it, and you will not grow into that.
Yeah. And
So
it affects your health also.
definitely, and the second part, which is very important, your well-being,
Yeah.
which most of us, specifically in our early days, we neglect a lot. So that is
Hmm.
very crucial, very crucial. Thank you for sharing that. Now, one thing I would like to, because you are into you coach the leaderships at different companies, right? Specific to that, I would like to ask you one question, that when you look at people who are at the top position and you are
Hmm.
hiring them, right, the leaders, uh, what are the specific traits or patterns you have found out in the people who have who have been there, like who have raced through themselves through the corporate journey, and then now they are leaders in their organization, right? Any specific traits you have found in almost all of them who are leading and have been successful in their careers?
Yeah. Yeah. The top one which comes to my mind right now is people who have been mindful about reskilling them,
Okay.
unlearning the things from their initial career days,
Okay.
and, and did not resist the change. You know, when the changes came in way, they did not resist them. They
Okay.
took it as a challenge and changed themselves according to the changes. And the leaders, you know, you have, I'm sure you have been watching news last 1 year. um, Sometimes people are not able to find good roles after a certain stage of their careers.
Right. Right.
Very
Yeah.
difficult to change roles, find very interesting opportunities after a certain stage.
Right.
That happens when you become stagnant, when
Okay.
you are just doing one kind of work for a long period of time and you did not reskill. See, those days are gone. My father joined one public company and then he retired from that company. Can
Right.
you and me think of that scenario right now? I'm sure many of our father's generation people were doing that, you know, joining one public organization and then retiring from there. I
Right.
am already on my third career, you know,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
I feel that I'm just getting started,
Correct.
because you know at this age my responsibilities are almost done. You know, my kids are one step already in the college spaces. I will have more and more time as I grow older, So I think I can do many more things in next 2 decades.
Absolutely.
So we cannot possibly think of retiring from the same career or same work that we started doing at the beginning stages of career.
Right.
So and this is the same thing I also notice in my leadership clients, is that people who move with the flow, who just kept learning new things, they are
Okay.
still relevant. And if you say, oh, I have done that, I used to do that, and live in the glorified past, then at some point of time, life becomes difficult for you.
Okay. Okay. That was again amazing. And yeah, so don't live in the glorified past. Every day you have to reinvent yourself.
Yes,
And as people say that the change is the only constant, and the people, as you mentioned, who have been successful throughout in their careers and have been to the leadership position, this is one of the strong traits which you have found in almost everyone. Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Great, great, great. I remember a quote from Alvin Toffler. He
Mhm.
says that the 21st century people, fools of 21st century people are not the one who will be, I think I'm forgetting that, but that is something related to where
Yes.
he says you have to unlearn,
Yeah.
relearn, and keep on
Yeah.
changing the things. I'm
Yes.
forgetting the exact words, but that was the criteria.
Yes. And that's what we say in our career word, is that reskilling.
Reskilling, absolutely.
Learning new skills, because the times of just getting one degree
Mhm.
and relying on that one degree for rest of your lives is over.
Right,
you know
right, right.
Organizations are looking at what you can do. They are not very focused on which college you're coming from.
Correct.
What skills are you bringing on the table? What attitudes and behaviors you are bringing on the table? you
Right,
know
right.
that's
Absolutely.
very.
Yeah, yeah. So what he mentioned, I just checked. The illiterate of 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who
Hmm.
cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So that's
Hmm.
from Alvin Toffler.
Wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Wonderful. Yes.
So again, because you have again one more question which I would like to ask. Many students, they, not everyone has this privilege of getting into IITs or IIMs or NIDs in the top schools or top colleges in the world or in country. uh, and that creates a impression that I am not good enough, or I
Hmm.
may not be successful in their life because I'm not got in this college. But the
Hmm.
reality at the corporate end might be different, right? So what would be
Hmm.
your suggestion for those students who have maybe gone into tier 2, tier 3 colleges, but they have the passion, or how do
Hmm.
what would be the message from your end to those people when it comes to scaling themselves in the corporate world?
Hmm. I'll repeat myself. Master. Master the topic that you are working on. Let's take a simple example. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say that you're doing engineering from a tier 2 college of a tier 2 city of India. Hmm?
Right.
And you have learned Java, Python, .NET, few languages. Okay. Now be the best at it. When we send candidates' profiles to the organizations, those candidates, when shortlisted, go through a series of technical interviews, technical rounds.
Right.
Now, in technical rounds, it doesn't matter whether you're coming from IIT or a tier 2. What matters is that what is your skill level?
Okay.
When you
Okay.
say that I can write a Java code, can you write a perfect Java code or not?
Okay.
So if it doesn't matter where are you coming from, I think as a society we give too much importance on where are you coming from. I say, watch where are you going? What are you doing? Forget for a minute that I come from a humble background, I come from this. Just forget it for a minute and just focus at what do you want to do now. That's over. You cannot control which city or which family you are taking birth in. And
Right.
why worry about the things you can't control? Let's focus on the things you can control. What you can control is that what you're bringing on the table. These days, young adults, young professionals not showing up for the interviews, their
Okay.
attitudes, their behaviors, not communicating well with the organizations.
Right.
I think I'll focus on that. Yeah. And Answer to your question is mastery. Do
Great.
one thing, but then do the best.
That's great. Oh, again, thank you. Thank you very much. So don't focus on where you are coming from, rather focus on where you are going and master that one particular skill or the subject. So thank you. And as you mentioned that skills matter much more than the pedigree or the college from which you are coming. So
Yes,
so don't bother on these things specifically. Even if you have not gotten a very good college, it's okay, it's okay. You still have a long career ahead. You can create
yes,
wonders in that. So thank
yeah.
you, Ritu, for mentioning
And
that.
if someone
Yeah.
is looking for inspiration, they can read Sundar Pichai's story.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
taking all the cliche examples, but look where he came from and where is he right now? What is your excuse? Tell me.
Right, right, right. So thank you very much.
Because
Sure,
all
sure.
we have is excuses. Oh, this happened to me.
Uh, Absolutely. So controlling the controllables and don't make excuses. So thank
Yeah.
you very much. And master, that is the key word. Uh,
Yes.
Moving on, I was, as you mentioned, that nowadays millennials, Gen Zs, all the young professionals who are coming in the corporate world, they have a different notion which they are carrying.
Hmm.
uh, that is not typically how our parents used to have. Most of them
Hmm.
may be having key, if they are not finding the, if they are not enjoying the work, they will immediately leave. Or the attitudinal problems which are there, which I think is rising in the organization. I don't know, maybe you can correct me on that. So how do you see these young professionals nowadays, and what would be your advice that they can make these some changes or adjustments which can help them in their placement work, specifically from attitude point and you know uh,
Huh.
values point, all these things?
So I will not generalize it. I would not say that this whole generation, because even our generation have made plenty of mistakes, right?
Right, right, right.
None of us are perfect.
Correct,
What
correct.
I would say is that you don't like something, you are leaving that. That's totally okay. Keep exploring, keep trying. Again, look inward. You
Okay.
know, this thing that we have gotten into is to make government, families, your ecosystem, your education system responsible for not you performing is not a
Not
great thing.
yeah.
These are the cards that we all are dealing with. Either you can blame these things, the ecosystem and everything, or you rise beyond it. So whether it's a millennial or is it a seasoned professional,
Right.
my advice is like do what you can with what you have right now.
Okay.
And there's a plenty that we can do with.
Great, great, thank you. Yes, so rise beyond all these things.
Yes.
And yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, education system is not perfect. There is a scope for improvement, but there is a scope for improvement in everything, in every country, in everything. Which nation can you say right now is perfect? Nothing is
Nothing,
perfect, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
We have still reached the moon, right?
Correct,
So
correct, correct.
is nothing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. And I can see that in your journey as well. You did your chartered accountancy, and then you did certification from Cornell University, and then you are also a certified coach from ICF, and now you are into a different stint of even of running a talent folks company, coaching also. Yeah, so learning, I think, has played a major role in your career as well.
Yes, I changed gears, whatever my life asked me to do, depending on the country I was in, situation I was in,
Right.
not stop.
Great, great, great. One thing which I can sense from the conversation which we are having, that you have a perseverance or a great mindset, because cracking CA in 90s was not such an easy task. Even today,
Wasn't.
yeah, yeah, hardly, very 1 2 3% of people, even less than that, uh, who apply, even less than that, I think 0.6% or something is the converting ratio, right?
I remember 2% was the
One, huh.
uh, success ratio around that time when I qualified. Yes.
Absolutely. So that was a very big thing in 1990s to become a chartered accountant, right? So that is coming, that reflects, and as you mentioned that you worked in the finance related work for with American Express and Moza Bear and all these companies also. So Perseverance, I think, is something which naturally comes to you, or grit.
Yes.
Nowadays, students, what I feel, they are losing the patience, and somewhere they are hopping from one thing to another very fast. How do you
Hmm.
look at it, and how they can imbibe this grit as well as determination, or focus in their lives?
See, I'm sorry, but there is no easy answer to this question.
Okay.
One thing which is not going in their favor is, in 1990s, let's say when I was growing up, if you have touched upon my journey, I'll take that as an example.
Right.
There was nothing much to distract myself with. So
Okay.
you might as well sit. There was nothing on television. We did not have PlayStation. We did not have social media. We did not have internet. You could have biked around your house. You could have played in the streets with your friends. What else you could have done, right?
Right.
So, but right now, children are under tremendous pressure of so many things which are grabbing their attention.
Right.
So I think comparing my generation to them is not fair to them,
Right.
because the world in which I grew up does not exist anymore.
Correct.
It's a totally different world with totally different dynamics.
Yes. Yes.
Said that, the grit, the perseverance, that does not change.
Right.
And you cannot teach these things to anybody. You can create the environment around them that they are naturally inclined to do that. Like they say, children do not hear you, they see
Hmm.
you, what you are doing.
Right.
You can as much gyan whole day to them, it will fall on the deaf ears if they do not see you walking the talk.
Absolutely.
So, giving that right set of atmosphere, the ecosystem, I think that's very important, and watch the company they are in, simple things, you know,
Makes
and then
makes big
trust them,
difference. Yeah.
and then trust them that they will do something amazing out of it.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is very important. So great. Great. So basically, as it is said, that your environment is more stronger than your willpower,
Yeah,
and that helps, that will help you to navigate your hurdles in your life, and
yes,
how your environment is. And we are the average of five people we are surrounded by.
absolutely. See,
Yeah.
okay. So, yeah, like you rightly said, that you are the sum of five people that you hang out with. And these are some internal things which comes from you internal.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not something, yeah, you can put in a pill or shake it in the water and give it to someone like, oh, now you will be gritty from tomorrow.
Right, right, right. So environment plays a huge role in that, and people who are, with whom you are surrounded by. So that's great. Thank you. uh, as you have touched upon this topic, as you are a mother of two teenagers, right, I would like to touch a bit upon that as well. Normally what I have found when I'm counseling students is, there has been a disconnect which normally starts happening between the child and the parent when they are approaching their teenage, right, from
Hmm.
class ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th. And there is a lot of friction sometimes, where the parent is not able to understand the child is not able to understand, child is saying that my parents don't understand me, right. So there is a lot of friction which I see commonly in many of the counseling sessions, right. You being a mother of a teenagers, also being a coach, also having having a experience of life, how do you deal these things, and how can parents improve upon this relationship friction which starts happening during teenage?
So I also noticed the same friction, and thankfully I noticed when my kids were younger. So I was mindful about that.
Right.
I would not say that I'm perfect, but I would say that I've learned a lot
Yeah.
along the way.
Yeah.
Uh, One very simple thing parents can do is to remember that they are parents. They
Okay.
do not have to come to the level of their children and start behaving and communicating in a way that they are doing.
Okay.
They are throwing tantrums. Remember that you are the parent.
Okay. Okay.
You take a high road, and do
Okay.
not compete with them. You are not siblings that you are fighting. And
Okay.
second is that treat them as adults now, because they are looking at themselves as if they know everything.
Right. Right.
So meet them where they are.
Okay.
Treat them as you will treat an adult in your family. You know, do not continue to smother them like we do them when they are kids. Do this, do that. The instruction, we do not have to become walking instruction manuals. Give them
Right.
space, just be around, meet them where they are, do things at their timeline for few years. Because, you know, I'll tell you why I'm saying that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, it's a different world right now. They are
Yes.
going through so many things that they cannot come home from their schools and colleges and tell you each and everything.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
And you don't know what their struggles are, what is
Correct.
going into their tiny little unformed brain right now. And
Yes.
biologically, also, it is said that their brain is not fully developed at that stage.
Right.
Imagine you are arguing with someone whose brain is not fully developed.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you feel about that situation?
Right.
You have to constantly remind yourself, treat them with lot of respect. More than love, I think respect comes into the play at that age, because they are not looking forward to your hugs and kisses and cuddles. They are looking for that respectful tone in your behavior. It's again a very interesting topic. We can go on and on. I'll take a pause here and see if you want,
Yeah. Yeah.
focus on some particular aspect.
Yeah. Right. 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 So, as you mentioned that the first line you mentioned, like you have to remember that you are the parent, right?
Yes.
So, can you bit clarify on that? Because sometimes what I have seen that parent come with lot of uh, straightforward, that this is how it should be. You don't know about the careers.
Mhm.
We have experienced the throughout the life. There are a lot of things. If you don't study now, if you don't put in efforts, you have to suffer. So very strong, thoughts that parents place. So
Mhm.
sometimes if they become the parent in that way, it becomes difficult for the child, right? So
Mhm.
that, if you can put some thoughts on that. So
I'll give you an example. Suppose
yeah.
when your child is throwing a tantrum,
Yeah.
let's say your child comes back from the school,
Hmm.
she's tired, something has happened in school that which is putting her off energy.
Right.
She is not in the mood to give answer to your 100 questions right now.
Right. Right.
So you are a parent, you understand and give her a
Right.
space. But what we want, the minute child walks in from the school, we bombard them. What happened in school? How was your day? What happened in that class? And we ask them 1 million questions. They are not ready for that, you
Right.
know. So, what I meant by saying that you are the parent, that you take a back step, that you
Got it.
understand.
Yeah.
And if she slams the door at that point of time, you do not have to take it personally. Make your home a safe space where she can slam doors. Because if
Yes.
she is not allowed to slam door of her own room, do you want her to slam door in her school
Right. Yeah.
or in
Yeah.
public? You know, a child should not enter the home and say, "Oh my God, another struggle." You know,
Yeah.
make your home a safe space that your child can be what they want to be at that particular time. So
Perfect.
you do not take things personally, because it is not even about you.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely.
Not walking in the house with the intention, oh, now I'm gonna rub my mother the wrong way, because
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
thinking about you.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
So you don't have to take it personally. You back off for a minute.
Okay. Okay. That was amazing. I mean, that was really a good insight. I mean, you being a parent, you have to understand rather you thinking that the child should understand you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So we have to give that advantage to the children, and
yes,
let them give a comfortable and safe space to throw those tantrums. Otherwise they will be throwing that at some other places, right? So
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for clarifying. I hope this is going to be really helpful. I mean, the conversation is going to be really helpful for the parents and the students as well. So yeah. Now, few more things I would like to ask. Like, when you see people in the corporate, what are the typical reasons that people resign or quit their jobs? What are the factors for people quitting or resigning? Mostly you have found.
Mostly, I have found is that people give way too much importance, and which is okay because everybody has their own story and their own requirements of their life. I think salaries, uh,
Okay.
compensation is very one big factor, and the competition in the market. Suppose you
Okay.
and me are coming from the same batch.
Hmm.
You are already a senior VP in one company, and I'm still a manager.
Right.
I want to quickly hop jobs,
Yeah.
you know, which also gives me more salary, which also give me more stature in the society.
Hmm.
You know what? And to be very honest, it's very difficult to generalize it.
Right. Right.
So
Okay.
every human being, every employee is coming with such a personal story. Now that's
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
these coaching sessions one on one, because there is no tailor-made answer.
Correct. Correct.
Now, I
Absolutely.
see these career conversations happening in a group. Like there are
Hmm.
15 children sitting in a room, and we are giving them a session as to how to choose a career. It does not work that way.
Correct.
You
Yeah.
know, because each child, each employee, each, even a senior professional, have secret and hidden agendas,
Yeah.
insecurities. It is so amazing to get into someone's personal world and find out that what motivates you and what discourages. Money excites can excite me a lot, and money can be nothing for you,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if I have to answer your question, I would say titles and money. I have
Okay.
seen inspire people to change jobs quickly.
Great. Great. Okay. Okay. Nice. So yeah. So titles and money, these are the typical things which mostly people move
Yeah, in my experience, I
in
have,
your experience.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, switching the gears a bit, I would like to ask you, suppose if there is a student, who wants to make a career in HR, human
Hmm.
resources, right?
Hmm.
What are the qualities the person should have so that from starting maybe 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, he can start looking at whether these qualities I fit into or not, right?
Hmm.
So any specific traits or qualities, or maybe value systems which you would say that if someone wants to make a career into human resources, these are the things which you should carry so that you can grow in that career.
Hmm. Hmm. So in HR, couple of traits I would say. First of all, you have to have interest in people.
Okay.
Okay, because this field requires you work with people all day long.
Okay.
Okay, so a little bit of that kind of a temperament, that kind of personality you should have. And second, I would say, is that eye for detail.
Okay. Okay.
You know, people think that, yes, I agree, HR is a support function in any particular organization, but we end up dealing with a lot of numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so that knack of looking at the numbers, remembering the numbers, that eye for detail, I would not say that you need to be have a mastery of that.
Okay.
But if you can somehow be partially interested that aspect of the work,
Hmm.
that would be awesome.
Okay.
So the subjects that you can choose probably are, let's say, economics is one of the good subjects that you can pick. You can be a very good commerce student and change the gear towards HR function. That
Okay.
also.
Okay.
Yes, in my experience, what I have seen is that there are children who are very much interested in the science subjects,
Hmm.
and there are children who are not interested in the science subjects. So if you are
Okay.
someone who is not very involved in data, analytics, statistics, maths, um, then you can look at these. HR is can be one of the function that you can look at. And
Great.
if you are a people's person, you love talking to people and you have a personality to connect with them,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know, so that would be an added bonus.
Okay, okay. So when you say interest in people, does that mean curiosity in the life of people, or does that mean talking to people? How would you say interest, having interest in
I
people?
would say, I would say curiosity is a very good word if you're curious about other people's stories and
Okay, okay.
you want to know the people.
Right, right.
Have you realized that sometimes you are talking to people, people are looking at you and they are not listening to a single word you are saying? Have,
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then there are people who get hooked on to the every word you are saying,
Right, right, right.
right? I'm talking about the people in the later category.
Got it, got it.
Because your listening skills, and you have to be genuinely interested in people, where you don't have to pretend whole day that, oh, I'm listening to you,
Yeah,
why
yeah.
are you thinking about something else,
Mhm.
genuine interest in people. That's what I mean.
Great, great, great. Got it, got it. So having the genuine interest in the people, curiosity to know their stories, uh, love talking to them.
Why you would ask me why I'm saying it, why
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it?
Correct.
Because that's when you can connect the dots.
Mm,
That's when you can help them to do the things they want to do. Suppose
mm.
you are an HR of an organization and your job is to place the right people in the right function.
Right.
You are not even curious about that. What motivates you? Why are you here? What do you
Huh.
want to do? If you are
Yeah.
not genuinely listening to them, how would you do your job well? Because
Correct.
your job, to do your job well, you
Mm.
have to place the right people at the right place.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you are not listening, you cannot do that.
Great. Great. Yeah. Yeah. So why was important? Like, absolutely. Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
your role is very crucial for the company and for that
Yeah.
person as well. Because misalignment of values,
Oh my
misalignment of
God.
culture is
Huge cost.
huge cost. Yeah.
Alignment,
Yeah.
huge cost.
Yeah. 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 And also sometimes it even for the person who is joining, if he's not the right fit, there can be lack of confidence which can come in if he's not thriving in that organization. So it can also boost down the morale of the person as well
Yeah,
if
huge
he's.
cost at both the sides of the table for
Yeah.
organization, for you, for the candidate, for the employee, everyone.
Right, right,
None of
right.
the person is happy. It's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Got it, got it. So as we are discussing on this, one question I would like to ask you is, what according to you, as per your experience in HR, would you define as the right talent?
Right talent is the right skill set,
Okay.
what you bring on the table when it is required by the organization.
Okay.
That you use the very good word alignment.
Okay.
Sometimes we have to reject the best candidate and we choose the second or third best candidate because we think that this person's skills is better aligned.
Right.
And not only skills, the temperament, the cultural alignment, sometimes the compensation alignment.
Mhm.
That's why I tell my candidates also, do not take rejection personally, because it's not that there was something wrong with you. You were not the right talent at that point of time for that organization. And it is good that you are not being selected, because if you are being selected, then it would have been a misalignment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That is the right talent.
Okay, okay. Thank you for sharing that. And do not take the rejections personally. That was very important. That is very important.
Yes.
That is very important. Right. So we are coming to the end, towards the end of the podcast, Ritu. And today's conversation has been amazing. I mean, a lot of nuggets for me personally as well. I gained a lot of insights. How does a recruiter looks, not just from the recruiter's point of view, but from a mother point of view, from a coach's point of view. You have covered and given this conversation a lot of wisdom nuggets. So thank you very much for doing that. Before we wind up this session, anything which you would like to share with the students, parents, from your experience, or I may have missed asking you those questions, so I would request you to, if you can share some of the things.
Sure, sure. Let me say one thing to parents, one message to parents based on the experience that I hear from my clients is that trust your children, love them and feed them, and most of the times back off. If they are now in the high school stage, sometimes just back off and trust them. Trust on your own parenting that you have done for 15, 16 years. You have done a great job. Now back off and let them show you what you have done with them. And thing I want to tell children is that when you are getting bogged down by your parents and families and everybody's lectures, see their intention behind it. You know, it's very easy to get upset with people, with the well wishers in your family, but see intention. Why are they saying that? Because your parents are not having bad intention. Maybe their method is not up to your style or up to your choice, but their intention is very at the right place. Their heart is at the right place. And for students, please do the work. Please do the work.
Great, great. Thank you very much, Ritu, for sharing those amazing words. And the best part, what I like the most, that you have these keywords, which are really powerful to the questions I was placing, and you were giving me the keywords, and it was bringing a lot of clarity to me. Like in the last, one keyword which I would from the conversation, which I would say to the parents, is to trust their children. So that is very important. And you mentioned mastery over your skills. Yeah,
Mm.
so these keywords are really going to be something which students or parents can just write down on their walls, and they can ponder on these
Thank you.
keywords. So thank you for sharing such important keywords. So here we come to the podcast. Thank you very much, Ritu, for your time and sharing your wisdom with all the audience and the viewers. I hope all of you must have, if you have stayed till long on this podcast, definitely you must have got a lot of wisdom nuggets from this conversation. uh, if you want my guests, if you want some specific questions you want me to ask to my upcoming guest, please put down that in the chat box. Also, I would be linking Ritu's uh, LinkedIn handle, so you can check her profile as well. And if Ritu, somebody has wants to connect with you, how can they connect to you?
You can share my number with them and they can WhatsApp me.
Okay, okay, that
That's
would
the
be great.
fastest way to get in touch with me.
That's great. That's great. So maybe that is some of the methods you can connect with Ritu as well. She has been helping the professionals, and the companies to align with the right talent. So yeah.
Thank
So
you so
here,
much. Thank
thank
you
you,
so
Ritu.
much for having me here. I had a great time talking with you. And thanks for this platform and opportunity. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. For really, really glad that you connected and we had this conversation. Thank you, and thank you to all the viewers who have been watching till the end. Thank you, and please type down what are your comments or what are the questions you would like me to ask in the upcoming sessions. Right, with the new guests. Right. So thank you very much for joining here. Thank you, Ritu. We'll be ending the podcast now. Thank you.
Bye for now.